Weather portion of Ag Week. Now we're going to start off with the snow depth. And the snow on the ground, well, it's where it's supposed to be. It's in the north and it's in the mountains. But some interesting things going on with the snowpack this winter. For the first winter in several years, Colorado, Utah, and the mountains of California, the Pacific Northwest, have bountiful snows. California in particular, you've seen all the rain that has made the news. Well, the Sierras are chock full of snow as well, so the moisture replenishing there will continue. The Yellowstone area and the Grand Tetons have very heavy snow. Some of this grayest areas where there's at least 5 feet of snow on the ground, and some of it heavier than that. Of course, the Yellowstone Basin is one of the areas which feeds down the Yellowstone and into the Missouri River. So that has implications for the Dakotas to some extent. North Dakota in the north has had very heavy snow. Northern Minnesota, southern Manitoba, very snowy. Southern parts of these areas not terribly snowy at all. And much of the Midwest and Great Plains has no snow on the ground at all. And a lot of this area is a little dry already, setting up at least the potential for watching this area, the southern plains, for maybe some drought later on this year. Meanwhile, the drought in California has almost been wiped away. And across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and the Great Lakes and the Corn Belt areas, there really isn't much drought concern at the present time. What is the forecast going to do? Of course, it's been unusually warm of late. Jet stream will sag a little bit southward. It doesn't mean it's going to get cold across the north. It'll just be less extremely warm. The cold weather will really mostly stay up in Canada, although toward the end of this week, I think we may trend at least a little cooler and see some parts of the northern plains go at least back down below freezing. Precipitation this week, Monday into Tuesday, a rain system may turn to snow in Canada, but that will mostly be rain. Another quick system in the northern plains on Wednesday. But evidence is a storm may come out of the Rockies late in the week. Don't know exactly where its path would be, but this one could be a potentially significant snowstorm for later in the week in some parts of the northern plains. As the calendar turns to March next week, the really cold air will stay Canadian. The really mild air, though, will get squashed, meaning most of the nation will be in a fairly cool weather pattern, maybe a little bit of cold in the northern plains. And with that kind of a pattern, there usually isn't a lot of precipitation, except a couple of rounds of big storms across the deep south and the southeast. Not much snow expected in the Midwest at all. So other parts of the country, South America, generally going to be drier than average, probably the next week or two. And Australia will continue in its warm and dry weather pattern. So to put it all back together as we head into the remainder of February, it's been mild so far, but colder weather is coming, and we may be looking at an increase in precipitation.